International Orthodox Christian Charities was established in 1992 by the Hierarchs of Skoba under the leadership of His Eminence Archbishop Jacobus of blessed memory and Metropolitan Philip. They brought together lay leaders Charles Agelat, Andy Athens, and John Rengas to establish the first philanthropic arm of the church in North America. So the first project of IOCC was an airlift from Pittsburgh to Moscow with much needed medical supplies. At the invitation of His Holiness Patriarch Pavle, IOCC established an office in the beginning of 1993 to bring cross-alliance humanitarian assistance into the war-torn regions of Bosnia. And we did medical supplies and medical equipment into Serbia, which was being impacted by international sanctions. We were going into small villages that were near the front lines. We were doing things that other groups didn't have access to simply because they didn't have an institution that was trusted and endeared like the church. And working with and side by side with the church brings a sense of comfort and is a viable distribution mechanism for IOCC. And it's a model that we've followed in other countries since then. At the same time we had established the Russia program and the program in the former Yugoslavia, we started a program in the Republic of Georgia to help rebuild their infrastructure. And we had a partner, the philanthropic arm of the church at the time was Lazarus, and they actually had a blankets program where refugees came together to actually make blankets, and then those blankets in turn were given to other refugees. That was one of our first emergency development programs. And so we got engaged and immediately started providing food. But we also went from emergency to development, and we stayed on that continuum where not just giving food, but helping people with jobs so they could buy food, helping people with jobs so they could rebuild roads that were being destroyed. And even today, we're responding to those needs. From the inception, IOCC's intent was to work at home here in the United States and abroad. It wasn't until 9/11 that really kind of moved that forward, bringing the emergency capacity home. So we've got volunteer builds where people come and they participate as far as rebuilding homes in the Gulf. We've got kits program, working where people put kits together that go overseas, baby kits, emergency kits. The U.S. program is a vital part of what we do, just like the other countries that we work in. It's important that people can feel and see tangibly what we do. And in Romania, we've got a unique opportunity to really focus in on the capacity and the outreach and the development work of the Romanian Orthodox Church and building their capacity for the social services, whether it's helping kids in the street, helping people with drugs, but also having that emergency capacity. So you can see now, particularly in the last 4 or 5 years of IOCC's programs, is really engaging the church in that second half of our mission statement, to build the capacity of the church to so respond. And eventually we'll have a strong network of Orthodox organizations around the world. Every country program that IOCC works has a different profile. And the church is engaged at different levels depending on the profile and the footprint the church has in the country. In Lebanon, we were able to establish a large education program with the U.S. Department of Agriculture where we fed over 45,000 children in 240 schools. In Syria, we're working, and we have been working, in response to the Iraq crisis. A lot of the Iraqi refugees are moving into Syria. We're working with the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch out of Damascus to provide support for the Iraqi refugees and for them to create opportunities to sustain themselves in country. Because of that access and the freedom that we have to operate, we've also been able to respond as far as to the current crisis and the humanitarian needs that are becoming evident with people moving within Syria. In a place like Ethiopia, the church has such a broad footprint, and having access and a willingness from the leadership like His Holiness Patriarch Abuna Paulos to take on issues of stigma is an important aspect of our programming. One of those is podoconiosis. It's a disfiguring of the feet from walking on certain soil. And a couple of months back, I met with a young boy who had suffered from podoconiosis. He hadn't been able to go to school. He hadn't been able to go out and play with his kids because his feet were so swollen. And simply by his father, who was an Orthodox priest, hearing about the program and getting engaged in the program, not being afraid to come forward, he's able to participate in this project and simply learning how to wash, learning how to wrap his feet on a regular basis. Now he's walking, he's wearing regular clothes. And you don't know who's happier when you see the boy talking about his freedom and ability to run, or his father, who was really held hostage and he wasn't able to help his own kid. The freedom he has and the joy he has as far as seeing his son being able to move and to walk.
We first started in 2010, this clinic, with small budgets, pilot projects, only with 200 patients. But the demand has become very great. People come away from 200 kilometers from this clinic, walking 8 hours, walking with no access for transport, and they are just suffering. So we designed, by the help of IOCC, designed to expand this project to additional 5 satellite clinics. In these 5 satellite clinics, we are expecting to give service for 11,000 patients for the coming 3 years.
That's where you see the power and the potential of the church to take on these issues that people don't talk about or are afraid to talk about. And I think that's another thing that makes IOCC unique. Well, 20 years seems like a long time, but it's actually pretty short. We talk about celebrating IOCC, and we have to talk about the wholeness of IOCC. And that includes the volunteers and the donors here in the United States, whether it's Chicago, Cleveland, or San Francisco, who've been with us from the very beginning. They're a vital part of who and what we are. And I think now, because of the support from the hierarchs, because of the support from the board, because of the hard work and dedication of the staff and our partners in leadership overseas, we're positioned to move forward. We're better prepared, we're better built to respond to emergencies. We're in a position to utilize the relationships and the unique access of the Orthodox Church worldwide to make a difference and to fulfill the mandate of Christ to reach out and to help our neighbors.